Angela. How are you?
Hi, I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. How was your week so far? How's it
It
been?
was good. It was good. Just I have some heavy things on my heart regarding my mom.
Okay. I think last session we had talked a little bit about it. We didn't really get too deep into it, but
Yeah.
it sounded like there was a lot of things in the middle. So
Yes,
can you just tell me a little bit more?
Yeah. So I just feel like I know that I'm feeling a little guilty because I haven't been able to spend a lot of time with my mom, both of my parents, and I know that, I love them and I will never desert them,
Right.
but I feel guilty because when I do, I get annoyed and sometimes we fight, and I just feel guilty about not spending time with her.
Okay.
I think she triggers me, so I don't know what to do. I don't know if I should, and then I get pissed. So I don't know.
Well, what are those triggers? How does that manifest in that relationship?
Yeah, so I think that because my mom, this happened a very, very long time ago, I think in 1994, that there was an affair in their marriage, my dad, and then I don't think she's ever fully forgiven my dad, and I think after that she's become this victim, and I think that it's gotten worse. They're in their 70s, and I think for me it's just become hard to hear the same things over and over and over again. And I think when she says I have to keep things very surface, and when we go over anything deeper, she'll say oh, it's all my fault. Oh, it's let's see, it's my fault, or everything. It's just she's horrible. She says I'm horrible.
She's victimizing herself.
And it's just I want to burst when that happens.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just so hard.
It sounds like you're feeling just frustrated because you don't know what direction your relationship with your mom's going. Have you tried kind of setting a boundary? How do your boundaries look like with your mom?
I think I have, even though she doesn't understand boundaries.
Okay.
I think in the beginning it was hard because she would tell me every time that I would go see her, she'd be oh, I haven't seen you in such a long time. You deserted me, and she starts I don't even say hi. She's already telling me something negative you've deserted me and you forgot about me. Come see me, and that I want to run away.
Yeah. So she's when you try to set that boundary, she kind of shifts the conversation and kind of puts guilt on you, and your response is you feel bad.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's definitely hard. I can, it's super frustrating. I'm sure you feel, very frustrated with that, situation with your mom. When you're setting your boundaries, are you setting them clearly? How does that play out? Give me an example of a moment when you've set a boundary and how it turned out.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I've never talked to her about it. About hey, Mom, this is what I'm doing.
Right.
Because I guess in a long time ago, I've tried to talk to her and she would just explode. Okay. So I kind of set the boundaries for me in my heart. And I think the boundary that I could tell you that I've set, is just, I told myself that I would only see them maybe a couple times a month on the weekend, and maybe for about 2 hours, 2 to 3 hours.
Okay. So you set a time frame.
A time frame because, and then but I think that this is when I start feeling guilty. Okay. That when I'm there, sometimes I kind of dissociate. Okay. And I think I feel so guilty.
How does that feel for you though? That dissociation, what do you feel internally?
It's because I think when she starts talking about certain things that I know are gonna trigger me, I kind of I think of other things. And that's when I know I'm dissociating, and I hate it because I like to be present. but then I either dissociate or I burst and I fight with her and I disrespect her, you know.
This is typical. Like, this is kind of like what happens more often than not.
Yes.
Is what you're saying?
Yes. And I just feel so bad. I feel horrible.
It's hard. I mean, can you tell me a moment where where this happened, like a specific moment? That way we can kind of dive deeper into that.
Yeah, sure. So.
And just walk me through, like, step by step, how it plays out.
So, one of the times I went there, and I think my dad had gone out to buy something or whatever for dinner or lunch that she usually makes. And then she starts kind of telling me, like, oh, your dad this and your dad that,
right?
You know, and sometimes, like, I've told her, like, Mom, I don't want you to talk about that. Like, I'm still his daughter, you know?
You want to kind of separate those two.
She's actually, like, I want to give her that. She's actually been better about that. And she knows that, like, I kind of stay silent when she talks about my dad. But then I start getting angry, like, you know, I'm like, I don't want to hear about my dad, you know? And then I kind of, like, dissociate, because if I know I bring it up, like, Mom, I don't want to talk about this, she'll start like, oh, I can never tell you anything, oh, I'm always in the wrong. Like, she'll go immediate into that instead of saying, like, okay, I'm sorry, let's talk about something else. She'll never do that, you know. So
it sounds like she doesn't even acknowledge kind of like how you're feeling.
No.
At all.
No.
I mean, I hear two things. I hear that you want to spend time with your family, with your parents, with your mom, but at the same time you also want to have a boundary, a healthy boundary, and it's kind of colliding. There's like two different things here. So what is, you know, how can we establish like a healthy boundary? What's a healthy boundary look like to you in an ideal world, right? Because right now the situation might not be ideal, but in your ideal world, what does that healthy boundary look like?
Yeah.
Like, what would you want?
Yeah, I think I still want to see them. I think a couple of times a month is doable. It's something that I've been doing. But I'll be honest and say that it's been over a month that I haven't. And I think once the 2 weeks has passed and I'm like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I'm like, but I also dread.
Yeah.
And I think that might be something that I have to figure out on my own, and I don't know. Like,
so the dreading comes from you not wanting to disappoint them, or is it just like that guilty part of you of, oh, I'm not spending time with my parents, and maybe I should?
I think that.
Okay.
I think that.
So how about we make a plan? Does it sound good for you?
Sure.
Okay, so let's work together, right? Let's work together to make a plan.
Yeah.
You know, I think you already started with a once a month kind of reunion, like twice a month.
Yeah.
So maybe you need just some more extra space between. Maybe, I don't know if that's something that you feel that would help you. Would that be a better, you know, approach?
Yeah.
What else do you think you could? How can you rearrange your time with your parents that you don't feel as burdened every time?
I think I could add a couple calls.
Okay. That sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Does calling feel less intimidating than like actually going to them and like having to hear all these things and seeing them interact?
I never stopped to think about that, but I think calling her and having conversation with, like, checking in, because, like, I know I love my mom and she's wonderful, but I just think I've pulled myself out of the relationship in order to keep myself safe, but at the same time I know that she loves me and she misses me. She tells me that all the time. You know, I'm gonna start crying.
That's
yeah, so I mean, I think I could be more intentional about calling her, and I think it'll diminish her missing me and her maybe guilt tripping me into not seeing her.
I wonder if, you know, if that were a more consistent thing, maybe she would be more inclined to have more open conversation with you.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you can open up, you know, the conversation for the boundary. You know, how would you communicate with that with her if you had the opportunity?
Yeah.
What would you do?
I mean, honestly, I've tried to communicate my boundaries, or even some of the things that like I've went through in therapy and that I've healed from and that I've forgiven her from.
Right.
But I've learned that it kind of becomes like she makes it about herself, and it hasn't worked. Like it's worse for me to bring that stuff. Like very little she's kind of recognized and like, okay, I'm sorry, you know.
Yeah.
But mostly it's like she feels bad about herself. I'm a horrible mom, and she goes into that whole thing, and that triggers the hell out of me.
How's your relationship with your dad? Does he see these interactions happen?
Yeah.
And how does he respond?
He was actually here yesterday, and I talked to him about some of the things that I'm finding out, and my relationship with my dad is good.
Okay.
There's a whole other thing that I could get with you later.
Sure.
But he drinks, but when he drinks, like he gets a little inconvenient, and that's my boundary with him. Like if he drinks, I'm not necessarily super around, because that's when he hurt me the most.
Okay.
He doesn't get like aggressive, but he gets like, he talks too much, and he gets like no filter. Basically.
Is it like verbal kind of aggression?
Yeah.
In a sense?
It's not verbal aggression. It's like, yeah, I mean, he hurt me verbally. You know, yeah. But when I say aggressive, he doesn't get like physical. Like he doesn't fight or anything. Never. But I also think I've also come to understand that it's his response to their marriage. You know, it's his numbing. You know, I'm not the therapist here, but I'm thankful to therapy that I know all these things. But so like I talk to him. I talk to him about it, and he knows the wife he has, and it's hard on him too. It's like I help him too with that, even though I shouldn't. But he understands.
Right.
Like he understands.
How does that translate? Your relationship with your dad seems like it has a more established boundary than your relationship with your mom.
Yeah.
Do you feel that maybe using that? Well, I know that your parents are a little different. Like they have different, you know, needs, and they're different in general, because male and females, right? But would it be, you know, far-fetched to say maybe using those same techniques that you used with your dad, with your mom? How would you think she would respond to those?
I just think my dad is very stable emotionally. He doesn't get first of all, well, he doesn't trigger him. He doesn't trigger me. I don't trigger him. Like we can have more like solid and normal conversations. With her, it's just like up and down. And I mean, she hasn't been a safe place for me, so I it's like walking on eggshells when talking to her. So I'm usually probably afraid.
Okay.
Like so I try to like, you know, be very careful.
So what are those specific triggers? If you could list those triggers, what would they be? Like if you were just like one-worded triggers.
Yeah, I think when she says like, you know, oh, it's, you know, it's, I'm always in the wrong. I'm just horrible. I'm a horrible person. Like when she turns into a victim.
Okay.
You know, whenever I bring something up that she made a mistake, or like just giving her feedback about our relationship, she immediately turns into like, I'm a horrible person and I never do things right, and that is an absolute trigger
for you, the victimization.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you in turn get angry.
Yeah, and then sometimes I'm like, okay, mom, okay, that's not what I'm saying, and so I start like, and I don't wanna disrespect her. Sure. You know, she's my mom, but it's
definitely hard.
And then I get shame and I get guilty after, and it's just like I go home and I cry.
Well, I mean, I appreciate, you know, you opening up and being so vulnerable, and I think that you've made a ton of progress so far.
Yes,
especially with, you know, it's such a hard thing with parents and relationships and everything. Yeah. But I feel like we can, you know, kind of table this, and when we come back, we can kind of go deeper into those triggers and maybe go back into childhood and see how those triggers affected you to the present, because it seems like it's stemming from you know, moments in your childhood with your mom especially. But thank you for coming and for being so, you know, vulnerable and open, and we can, you know, pick this right back up when you come back next week. Sounds good?
Thank you, Susan.